This is the injury report presented by NYU Langone Health. Jets corner Sauce Gardner suffered a concussion in the second quarter and left the game in the loss to the Panthers, but he wasn't diagnosed with the concussion until after the game. Sauce wears a new type of sports technology around his neck that's supposed to aid to when it comes to brain trauma. So in today's injury report, we're talking with Dr. Andrew B., assistant professor of sports orthopedic surgery at NYU Langone, about when Sauce could be cleared from protocol. Doc, what's going on, man? First time on injury report. What's going on, rookie? Let's get straight into this. Concussions, as you know, we see NFL players suffer them all the time throughout the course of a season. Can you describe what are some of the side effects a player has to deal with when they get a concussion? And is there anything new you all have learned throughout studying these effects?
Hey, what's up, Brandon? Thanks for having me on. I'm excited to be here. So sports-related concussions, they're typically traumatic brain injuries caused by direct blow to the head. This leads to a force transmission to the brain, which initiates this cascade of metabolic and neurotransmitter injury, and this leads to inflammation, blood flow changes, and even possible severe, axonal injury, all of which are typically undetectable on typical neuro imaging, such as CT or MRI scans. The symptoms of concussions can be as immediate and obvious as loss of consciousness, seizures, or posturing, like we've seen with Tua in the past, or balance difficulties. They can also be delayed and as subtle as slight disorientation, headaches, or mild behavior changes, which is why these can often be missed. And the NFL and all sports have placed such an emphasis on early silent detection with various diagnostic tools.
Yeah, I've suffered two concussions when I played in the CFL, and I don't wish that upon my worst enemy. So I'm always locked in when it comes to if there's any new technology out there that can help the players. And Sauce actually wears what's described as a subconcussion neck band that applies pressure to the neck to help reduce movement of the brain during impacts. Could that have helped prevent something worse? Or is there like a sports tech out there that can help and reduce the effects of concussions? Or is it something that we athletes are just going to have to deal with since we signed up to play contact sports?
Yeah, great question, Brandon. And I mean, you've lived this topic, so you know better than anybody. But yeah, so Sauce wears what's kind of called this Q collar. It's still relatively new. I think the most well-known example of this was Luke Kuechly was wearing this, and he kind of popularized it prior to his retirement because he had suffered so many concussions. The theory is that it changes the blood flow in the brain and prevents possible side effects from the concussion. It's still in a little bit of that experimental phase. We don't have studies that show it reduces concussion, but it is a promising technology that athletes can wear. The other thing that probably is the most well known is the Guardian helmet, which is you've seen some players wear in games, some players wear in preseason. It's that soft padded helmet that they wear over their normal helmet. The Guardian helmet has been shown to reduce the rate of concussions when players are wearing it in contact sports. It, aesthetically, looking is not the coolest. So I think some players are hesitant, but that's something that definitely reduces the risk.
Is it true that a player is more likely to re-injure themselves and get another concussion after they return from their first one?
Yeah, yeah. So not only are they at increased risk for a second concussion, they're also increased risk for lower extremity injuries, such as an ACL tear that first year after suffering a concussion. We don't know the exact cause, but we think it's due to some slight impaired neuromuscular control or altered reaction time in that residual neurological deficits that take longer to recover after concussion. But obviously the most severe complication we worry about is neurologic injury. So that's second impact or second hit phenomenon, which can be life-threatening. And then with more than two or repetitive concussions over a career, obviously the risk for chronic traumatic encephalopathy or CTE, which the NFL is really highlighting now, which is a good thing. Given Sauce had a prior concussion, and I think he had it in 2023, and even though he came back in like a week with minimal symptoms, I think the Jets this time around are probably going to take a much more cautious and prolonged approach, especially given their record right now.
I'm not laughing at the concussion thing. I'm laughing at the record thing. For non-athletes that are out there, they come to your office. What's the recovery timeline like for them when it comes to dealing with a concussion?
Yeah, for non-athletes, they obviously don't have the same kind of rigorous return to play protocol. They don't have the trainers or the neurologist or head team physicians in their corner. But at minimum, they kind of have the same, if they want to do anything athletic related or contact, possibly contact related, they have that same return to play protocol. And so, the NFL uses it, most organized sports use it. It's a five-step protocol. And so it goes through, number one, rest, then aerobic exercise like just cardio or treadmill or a stationary bike. Then for a sport specific exercise, if you're going back to sports, and then again, this is the NFL's example, but then non-contact drills and then a full contact practice before clearance. So if you count the day of injury, you count a activity recreation day. That's typically a week before they can go back to any kind of contact activity because each stage you need to pass 24 hours without symptoms before moving on to the next one.
Dr. B, we appreciate that information. We got to get you on sooner than later. Appreciate you coming on.
Brandon, you're the man. Thanks for having me.